Hey friends, welcome to the Johnson City Living Podcast, where we learn about the people, places, events, and flavors that make Johnson City just a lovely place to live. I'm your host, Colin Johnson, with the Colin and Carly Group and Keller Williams Realty. If you're interested in buying or selling a home in the area, or if you're looking at investing in a rental property, give us a call at 423-930-8003, and we will look forward to helping you. Now, let's get to today's episode.
It is a beautiful March day here in Johnson City. It's 60 degrees. I'm seeing daffodils. Little bulbs are popping out of the ground. It's warm. It feels great, but I think it's going to snow tonight. So it's kind of like one of those wait 15 minutes and you'll get something new in the weather. But I'm excited today because I've got a new friend. He has a lot of things that I like to do that he likes to do in his life. And so you're going to learn all about him. His name is Landon Owen. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Colin. Appreciate it, buddy.
Landon, tell me about your day job. Tell me where you work first, and then we'll jump in.
Yeah, I'm the Vice President of Consumer Sales at Bristol Motor Speedway, Bristol Dragway, and funny enough, New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Hampshire Motor Speedway. That's right around the corner. That's like, that commute's a little longer than Bristol. But
that's right.
Probably not too bad.
Yeah, bad.
Okay, Johnson City Living Podcast, though. Yeah. What do you love most about Johnson City?
Well, I'm not a native of the area. My wife and I moved here for my job.
Okay.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
I outkicked the coverage, and she just came along with me and trusted me and believed that this was where we should be. And when we came to visit, it was like, this can't be this nice. Like, it's okay. And if you remember downtown 13, 14 years ago, it looked a lot different.
It looked a lot different. Yes, sir.
And we love urban revival. We've lived in a couple other places that kind of went through that, and to see that happen here, maybe not on the grand scale in some of those larger markets, but to move here, it felt like hitting the lottery. And now it's home.
Yeah.
It's home.
How long have you and Jim been here?
We've been here, this started just year 14, just a few weeks ago.
Isn't that awesome?
I've lived here longer than anywhere else in my life.
Yeah.
In one place, just past the town I grew up in.
You going to retire here one day?
Who knows? That's a long ways away.
The Lord's got a plan.
I hope it's a long ways away.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I could certainly see us being here for the long haul. It's a long haul for us already.
For sure.
To be here. But, one of the things I ask folks that come and interview us with us is, it's sports business is different. You can work in sports or you can live in a certain area.
Right.
And a lot of times you don't get to say yes to both.
I gotcha.
So I was asked that question. You want to work in sports or live here? For the first time in our lives, like, we get to answer yes to both.
It matched up.
It finally matched up. It never was hey, let's move to Johnson City or move to Huntington, West Virginia. I don't think anybody's ever said that. All due respect we loved our time in Huntington. My wife went to Marshall. I went to grad school there, and that's where we met. But we lived in Blacksburg, Roanoke area.
Yeah. We
moved to New Jersey. Like, no one ever said, let's move to New Jersey.
Yeah. Your story where we got to have coffee a few weeks ago, I really enjoyed hearing it. It's like super cool.
It's been a fun journey. Very blessed to have met so many great people along the way that help, and just try to pay it forward to the next group.
Yeah. Tell the listeners a little bit about the call you got to go work at a baseball stadium that you would like.
Yeah. I grew up a Mets fan. And I was working at Rutgers at the time, and unfortunately, through the budget cuts or whatever, we laid off some folks, and I was one of those layoffs. That hurt.
It hurts.
All of us go through that at some point.
Yeah.
Well, I got a call from the software company, or the ticket software that we use, and say, hey, we got a client in your area that needs some help, and would you consider going up there outside of your discipline in college athletics? And I was like, well, is it the Mets? And I knew they used it, and they're like, yeah. I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
So I wanted to play first base for the Mets. I wore 18 for Darryl Strawberry my whole career when I was playing ball, and even through softball all those years after.
Nice.
So to get the call to be able to go up there, and I spent a season with them was pretty special and unique, and a lot of hours in the commute, New York City traffic, 55 miles each way. A lot of bridge tolls that you just don't see other places.
Right.
But I wouldn't trade a second of it. And ultimately it led us to Bristol.
Yeah.
In a weird way. It opened some eyes, and thankfully, the good Lord put us in the place here.
How did you get into ticket sales? Like, what's your degree in?
Sport management.
Okay.
I went to Wingate University in North Carolina.
Okay.
little D2 school, but I wanted to be a baseball coach.
Okay.
But figured I'm going to study sport and learn how to run a team and do all those things too. It turns out I didn't want to be a baseball coach after I had a chance to do it for a few years.
There's a lot of practice on
Yeah.
baseball. I mean, we're just like you were telling me before
Yeah.
we sat down, you got baseball with your little one.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is forever. Like, it's always something with the baseball.
Yep.
Like-
You're traveling, you're recruiting, and I wanted to coach in college specifically. And, it was a great experience to do, but it taught me a lot about myself and where I wanted to go in life. And, thankfully I had that great program. I did an internship in college with the NFL team. And then, so kind of put all those things together, worked in golf for a couple of years, but then went back to grad school at Marshall for a position that my friend told me about. And he's like, oh, let's go up there together. And ultimately we ended up there together at the same time, which was awesome. And that's how I got my start in ticketing. And it wasn't supposed to be a career. Just kind of happened.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I was decent at it.
Yeah.
And had some great teachers, and ultimately went through and spent a couple of years here, a couple of years there. And then one opportunity led to another. And almost 21 years later now that I've been in ticketing, now I've spent the last 13 years at Bristol. And
How did you get the Bristol job? How did that show up?
supplied,
Because you're thinking about high school or college sports,
Yeah.
and you got the Mets deal and then NASCAR out of the
Yep,
clear.
out of the blue, and it absolutely was. And I remember they had it posted with a recruiter, a headhunter, and Dan was his name, and he called me like the day after I applied. It's like, where have you been? I'm like, it's been open for a little while, and I'm like, well, I hadn't seen it, and I had just started looking, and this is it, and it all happened so fast. And you may know Logan McCabe.
I do.
Met with Logan, met with Jerry Caldwell and Drew Bedard and all the other teams, Chipper Harvey, and just one after another. It just seemed like, hey, this was kind of meant to be.
Yeah, I think it's probably Jerry. He's put a great team together.
It's unreal.
I mean, just the quality of guys over and over. It's a testament to why Bristol is so amazing, I think.
It really is. I mean, the leadership that not only that Jerry provides to all of us and inspires, work for a company with the Smith family that takes risks and allows us to take those risks and do crazy things like host a football game and with 156,990 people. Or
did they have any clue that it was gonna be that big?
It's funny enough, the first time I heard of Bristol, I was working at Virginia Tech.
Oh, okay.
And the person I was renting a room from at the time, because I just moved there, she's like, hey, can you help me get a ticket to the Bristol night race? I'm like, well, I don't really know anybody there. I'm like, I can get you tickets to Charlotte, maybe. She's like, no, it's got to be Bristol. And I asked her why, and she's like, well, we're going to play a football game there one day. I said, what? And not knowing, like, I didn't know. I grew up near Watkins Glen.
Yeah.
So, like, to me, was road racing
Right.
was popular. And I turned on the night race to watch what the fuss was about. And I'm like, ooh, I get it. That would be incredible. And then to come here and within a year, we started planning it. And it was soft at first, but then it started to gain some traction. And, we ended up pulling it off. It was an incredible evening, and an event people still talk about to this day everywhere I go.
Isn't it the most attended college game ever?
When you think about the previous one, the previous record was around 115,000 at Michigan, and we had 157,000.
I mean, that's
To beat it by that much,
that's untouchable, probably.
it should be. I think it's safe, but records are made to be broken. That's right. Who knows? We might do another one.
There you go.
A chance.
Throw some extra bleachers up.
But this summer, exciting with Major League Baseball coming, that happened because of that game.
Yeah.
Little did we know, and Jerry tells this story so well. Little did we know that they were thinking of putting together a series to play in unique venues, and
Oh, that's cool.
ultimately cornfields and army bases and historic ballparks in the minors. And we were on their list because of that. We were on a radar, and it took a little while for it to kind of become our turn and have that discussion. But 2-3 years later, we're out running, the thing's selling like wildfire, and we're hoping to set a record for the largest regular season game in the modern era. and will be the first Major League Baseball game ever played in Tennessee.
Now tell our listeners who the teams are that are
We're
coming.
going to have the Atlanta Braves and the Cincinnati Reds, two very familiar.
Yes. Was that strategic, probably?
I would say so. They share the TV market.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a local TV game, you turn it on, you know, you're probably watching one of those two teams.
You're within 4 hours of commute, probably, for both of them. Right?
Yep, just about 4 to 5.
Yeah.
So similar to football,
Yeah.
with kind of the meet in the middle that works. And yeah, it's going to be one heck of a show. We're excited.
Now, Director of Consumer Sales,
Mhm.
right? Is that what your title is?
It's a fancy way of saying ticket sales.
Ticket sales. Tell me about that role. Like, I think you're probably either the people, like your friends are like, hey, can you hook me up with tickets? Or, you know, you're probably that guy, the go-to guy sometimes, but on the other side of it, you're like, I've got all these people call me all the time for tickets kind of thing. So tell me about your role and how you like it and love it and don't like it. Some of the challenges.
I think early on they all called,
Yeah.
but after a while they learned.
They're like,
No, but it's an interesting job. You know, we're our team. You know, the team that I get to fortunate to lead is we're the connection to the fans. You know, we're the relationships to the fans that people have. Like, oh hey, I got to call Colin and get my tickets. You know, if you were up there, you would have people that call you. They know you by name. They come find you during race weekend, and you hear their stories, and you're a part of their lives in some cases.
right.
Some more than others.
I've been calling Landon for 14 years.
There you go.
That's it.
There you go. So I mean, the first race I worked there, I'd been here a month. I didn't know anybody, and no one really knew I was here. And somebody, the woman who was part of our team that worked at the front desk, she comes back and she says, "Hey, you have a visitor." I said, "Nobody knows I work here yet."
Yeah.
And I go out there, and it was one of our best customers from when I was at Marshall. He had found out through the grapevine that I just started there, and I'm like, "No, Chandis?" I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Man, I've been coming here since the 70s."
And
So I see him twice a year, like clockwork, at every race. He's never missed one.
that's
So it's really neat, the stories that come out of that. And, you know, in my job, I get to help other people move forward in their careers. We're kind of the entry level into the business.
Yeah.
You know, 40-50% of entry level jobs in sports are in ticket sales.
That's cool. I didn't know
So
that.
we get to see people come in the front door and blossom. And then, you know, they spend a few years with us. They either move up, or we can train them well enough they move on if they're ready. And it's been a neat progression, and very, very fortunate to be there.
What do you love most about it?
The big events. I mean, I think
Just the excitement and the energy of it.
it different from, you know, the stick and ball sports where I came from, that you had a game every night. You know, in college athletics, you might have had 50, 60 home games between the different sports. In baseball, you have 81. You know, you don't get something right the first night, fix it the next night. Like, oh, let's try it again. Let's try something different. We get 2 or 3 chances a year. Or one in some cases.
It's kind of, we got to get it right.
A lot of pressure. So it's a different cadence, it's a different pace, but we're still working towards a goal.
Yeah.
You know, I talk to, you know, many people, just, hey, I'm working for Friday, I'm working for the weekend, and we get to work towards, you know, an event that people want to come to and have fun. So we get to self-fund for a living.
Yeah.
Which just, I know the cliche, if you do what you love, you never work a day. It's so true. And my wife sometimes hates me for it.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
Well, she does a great job at the bank doing what she does.
Yeah.
I think she probably loves what she does too.
I think she does.
It works out. I was just getting off the phone with another friend of mine, and I was like, and she's on our team, and I was like, I just love our job. Like, I just love connecting with people. And, you know, I think when you can figure out what you love to do and how to work into your job, it just works out well. What are some of the challenges?
Well, just like with anything, you know, the economy could be a challenge, you know, where that goes. Technology can be a challenge. You know, we're in the host of selling live events. You know, live events have changed a lot over the years, where, you know, before football stadiums were being built, it was 100,000 people. You know, now they're building NFL stadiums that host 50,000 people. They had the Super Bowl, not this year, but the year before, in Vegas. And Vegas seats like 55,000 people.
That's a lot of people.
It is a lot.
It's small for you
by
guys, but
comparison.
still.
It's like a third of our venue. So we could have a crowd bigger than the Super Bowl and the size of the venue is just so enormous.
Yeah, and then you watch it on TV, it's like, oh, nobody's.
Yeah, it's like,
but there's
so I think we fight that perception a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's still the folks that do come, like we shower them with love. We make sure that they know that they're wanted and they're appreciated. And that's what our business is. We're in the hospitality business as much as we are in the sports business.
I think everybody's in the hospitality business.
You have to be.
You know, you're in, we talk about client experience a lot. For us, we want everybody to have a great experience, and yeah, there's even a whole economy of experience, right? You think about every aspect of that down to the ticket sales, and it's all changing and continuing to. You're having to reinvent yourself all the time. What do you see for getting the stadium back to? Do you think the days of old where it's packed out for the night race, I mean, is that around the corner again sometime soon, hopefully?
Well, I mean, I might be a little biased, but I think it's pretty packed out now.
Yeah.
I think our venue, would you build another venue like that today? Like, no, you wouldn't.
Okay.
It's just so big, but I think we've done an admirable job of adding comfort to a stadium that was built for capacity.
Oh, I gotcha.
So I think, we've done some things. We've added more amenities for the fans. We've been able to take out seats in a certain area and had a premium experience and elevate that. Hey, I'm a bucket lister.
Right.
Me, as I'm sure we'll talk about in a second with golf, when I play a course once, I'm there and gone, and I'm moving on to the next because I have a goal, long term. But if it's really special, I'll certainly come back and see it again. And we know we're fortunate that people come see us because it's a bucket list venue and they want to cross off that event, but we want to turn that bucket list into a tradition. So I think those are the things that we do. And the spring race has a ton of momentum. The drag race is one of the crown jewels of the NHRA, and the event facility's great. And then we can still have the night race every year, which is the marquee, the name on the marquee that everybody knows. But the partners that are with us have been with us for decades, like Food City. And there's no other partner in professional sports like Food City.
Oh, really?
They've been the longest running sponsor in the Xfinity Series, and they're the second longest running in the Cup Series.
Oh, wow. That's
only
cool.
Coca-Cola's been in a Cup race longer than they have.
That's pretty incredible.
Bass Pros, I think this is their 10th year with us.
Yeah.
And that's only because it was taken for the 10 or 20 years before that.
Isn't that cool?
So it's really neat. And then to bring on local companies like Bush's Beans, Sugarlands, Swaggerty's is
the local,
they're all East Tennessee companies.
So
it's really neat that we have that family feel, and Food City being local as well, Southwest Virginia, of course, but Bristol sits on the state line. So we have that kind of homegrown feel with the big city that we bring into that.
It is. I mean, Corey and I have had the blessing to go a few times, and it is super fun. And we had won suite passes, and I was like, we were walking up, and you could hear kind of the loudness of them warming up or whatever. But I was like, I've got to go down the stands. Like, I just wanted to go, and I didn't have root protection on, but you could just, as they come through, like around the corner, you just feel this boom, in your heart. And like, I was like, this is awesome. No wonder people get hooked. It's so cool.
It's amazing. And drag racing for the same thing. Like, before I came here, drag racing wasn't even on my radar of pantheon of sporting events that I could go to. And I was a bucket lister crossing off some stuff, and been blessed to see a lot of great events. But my first drag race absolutely blew me away. If you've never been,
I've never been to the.
Oh my gosh, like it's a riot.
Do you know a ticket? Yeah, I could get some tickets.
I might.
Okay.
Why don't we talk?
We'll talk
camera?
offline.
We'll talk off camera. But, it's such a sensory experience. Like, they have a TV deal, but it's not nearly what NASCAR's is.
Right.
But it's almost one of those events that shouldn't even be on TV because it gets in your nose. You can feel it in your eyes. Your bones shake in your body. Your eyeballs vibrate when they take off. Like, if you're not excited by that,
something's wrong with you.
Not alive. Like, I brought my dad. It used to be on Father's Day weekend, and my dad was fortunate before he passed to come a couple times. And he's a little guy. He's like 5'6", 5'5", about 120 pounds. And he would jump. It knows it's coming. We brought him down. My brother was here too. Brought him down to the starting block.
Oh, wow.
He thought it was the coolest thing he ever seen.
That's awesome.
And he's seen some stuff.
That's cool.
And obviously I get my love from my folks. And
when is the spring race?
Spring race is going to be April 11th to the 13th.
Still get tickets?
Still get tickets now, BristolMotorSpeedway.com, or call our team, We'll walk you through it if you've never been. We love to talk to first timers and kind of show you the ropes. So we
You have a number on that one?
866-415-4158.
Cool. We'll put that in the show notes, and we'll put the link to the ticket sales
Absolutely.
in there too.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Drag race will be June 6th to the 8th, about 50 days after that. We'll host the Speedway Classic with the Braves and Reds August 2nd, and then we'll finish up our prime schedule, our annual schedule with the night race. Bass Pro Shops night race weekend will be September 11th to the 13th with the playoffs in town.
Oh yeah, that's
So yeah, the playoffs are here.
That's
So,
pretty cool. Can you still get tickets for the baseball game?
Yep. We're selling fast, but getting ready to put some extra tickets on there too. We got some
Okay.
infield experiences that are coming. They're going to build some stands around home plate on the
Nice.
track.
Yeah.
So those will be available soon. They had lots of things. Entertainment, starting to get some serious conversations there. So
Going with some like big stars to come in, and you got a pretty good.
stay tuned.
Okay.
Yeah, there'll be some exciting announcements.
Maybe we'll have you back on. You can once you release the names of the people coming.
Yeah, maybe we do a live remote up at the
Ooh, yeah, that sounds even
There you
more
go.
fun. Mitch, we're going on the road.
All right, road game.
All right, so you
Yep.
play a little. Let's talk a little. Let's shift gears.
Yeah.
Bristol's unbelievable, and it's
Mhm.
such a cool thing, and yeah, we love it.
Yep.
You like to play golf,
Some have said that. Yep.
and you're still married, and I mean, I think
Yes.
you told me you've played how many courses now?
Personally, we looked it up with Mitch, 382
382 different golf courses.
different golf courses. That's the
Anyone
ones.
not only do that, but you shoot photography and drones and
Mhm.
stuff while you're out there. So let's talk about the origin of this Golf Crusade
Okay.
thing that you were doing, because
Yeah.
I think it's super cool.
Well, thank you.
And it sounds like you've got room for a third person, or maybe Mitch can go and we'll be your foursome.
I have a third social media account that I would love somebody to run. So if you're not going to do it, I'll take intern applications at the door.
I'll be your intern.
No, it's not a business. Number one.
Yeah, it's just
it is
fun.
a hobby. It's
Yeah.
something. It's a passion. I had taken photos. It started with sports, and I got into photography that I wanted the same souvenir from each stadium that I visited. And my dad was a magnet and matchbook collector. And I'm like, well, I'll do magnets. I'm not a smoker. So I didn't do that. Nobody has matches anymore.
No.
So no matchbook.
They're
So
coming back. Some little restaurants around I'm starting.
Oh,
to
yeah?
find, so it's kind of cool.
I'll keep my eye out.
Yeah.
So it turned out like the one thing that I could do and impact was like, I got 5 minutes. I can go take a photo of the venue during halftime or timeout, or after the ticketing typically works till halftime and then you're done. So I would do that. And I had these wide angle panoramas from every stadium. I'm like, I'll do something with it one day. And I didn't know what. I started posting some to the Google Maps. Before it was Google Maps, it was something else. And I wanted to post a picture a day for a year. And a lot of it was golf. And at the end of the year, on literally the last day, it hit 1 million views. And Google sends you a little email. It says, oh, this is cool. Congrats. I didn't know if it was a big deal or not, but it felt like it. And I kind of had this idea with all these golf courses that I've been photographing over the years. I had all these stock photos with nothing to do. Maybe do a coffee table book. Had a friend, oldest friend, who also was a golf nut. We used to compete over who could play more courses. And we had been around 200 at the time. And I said, well, we're not going to get to 1,000. And that was like first one to 1,000 before they die wins. And I'm like, let's combine our lists. I've had this idea to do a website, and I really wanted to do it with somebody. And I didn't want to do it by myself. And so we came up with Golf Crusade. Our list was around 390 at the time. And we went on a trip to play 400, and we built this website, and we showed our lives. And my wife said, you built that? I'm like, that looks better than I expected. I'm like, thanks.
Thanks.
Uh,
Yeah, it's not made out of crayons.
Yeah,
really good.
it's not drawn like our daughter writes, but that's okay. And so I'm like, our goal is to play 1,000 together. I'm like, you okay? We kind of tackle this together? And she's like, yeah, why not? So it was not a free pass. Like, we don't get carte blanche to just pack up and go on golf trips all the time.
Right.
Not how it works.
Still got to run.
Yeah.
Or ticket sales. On
Yeah,
this, and
obviously.
be a dad.
Yeah,
gonna
and do all those life things.
Live indoors. That kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Hey, we still go to church on Sunday morning. That's when we, you don't go play on Sunday morning. here.
Amen. Yep.
So we do all those things, but that came at the expense of, okay, I'm not going to go to many sporting events anymore. We'll travel to play golf when I can. So we're up to 602. Well, the two of us. And we just played our 600th in January, February 1st, down in South Carolina. So
that's awesome.
It's really brought us some places and introduced us to people if we might not have met if it wasn't for that.
Yeah.
You shared your golf background, which is fascinating in itself. And the love of golf architecture combined with photography and just playing the game with different people
so fun.
Has been just such a blessing. As I said, Mitch and I were saying, it's a happy accident that it happened. And we have a nice little following. You can find Golf Crusade on Instagram, but we do it, other than this, like talking about it, it's all done anonymously. We want the focus to be on the places that we play. We don't charge. We don't take a dime from anybody. We play a course and they like the photos. It's your course. You keep the photos. We've been able to upgrade our equipment over the years. And we've run a couple events even that have been pretty popular. So it's been a neat thing. And, I'm glad we discovered this journey, and it's brought us into contact with so many other people that we otherwise never would have met.
Yeah. When do you have like a target date to get to the 1,000? I mean, that's still 400.
So it's a ways off.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's not happening this year.
It's a big deal. I won't tell Jerry. He's working hard every day.
Yeah, I'm fired totally. No, but it has its place in the pecking order, and it's 9th or 10th.
Yeah.
Yeah. We try to average one new course a month per guy. So 24, 25 a year. And we just round up 25 and we say that's our goal. And we've exceeded it the first couple of years, but now it's going to get a lot harder. We've played everything
nearby
our homes. So unless you move, which we don't really plan on.
Nope.
So I've started recruiting some friends to come build some new golf courses here. Unsuccessfly, but
I just need to play one. I mean, it'll make sense.
Trying.
$30 million just for one round of golf.
If you build it, they will come, right? So, but no, I think our area, one of the things that I saw about our area, and I remember this when I was in Huntington, that the Golf Digest put out a Metro golf rankings back then. It was probably mid-2000s. And Huntington, Ashland, Ironton was their Metro, was 15th on this list. And it factored in a lot of like cost of the round, access to public golf, that sort of thing. Quality of the courses too, but it was a lot of other metrics. Private golf wasn't really a part of it. Like New York City was 335th out of 335.
Right.
There's no golf in New York City. But number 2 on that list was Johnson City, Kingsport, Bristol. Believe it or not, if you did, and that always stuck with me. I'm like, well, that's not far away from where I was at the time. And then when this job was open, I'm like, ooh. Now, I don't know if I shared this with Jen, but I'm like, I think that's the place that was number 2 on that list. Looked it up. I'm like, it certainly was. They've since changed their criteria to more big markets.
Sure.
So we're not clued in anymore. But Auburn, Alabama was number 1, and we were number 2.
Oh, that's cool.
So coming here, like new golf, affordable golf. We've had some courses closed as the golf business has ebbed and flowed. Since the mid 2000s, went on a big downturn, and COVID has exploded it again. And now you can't get a tee time a lot of places.
It's hard.
It's hard. You have to plan and you have to be intentional. And I think that's the secret. A lot of golf dads will ask, how you play so much? And I really don't. Like I play, I'm very thankful to play when I get to, but no, it's very intentional. You have to sacrifice some other stuff. And maybe it's beers with the guys, and you just have beers with the guys on the course. So you combine things. So, yeah, it's been fun.
Out of 602. 600 courses.
Yeah.
Give me your top 3 favorites, if you can remember.
All right. So
I asked you this. I was like, are you one of those jerks that can remember every hole? Like probably I hit an 8-iron in. It was like 10 feet from the pin. I made the birdie putt because I am not that guy who I cannot remember.
I cannot remember what I shoot on courses unless it's
but you can remember the hole.
Unless it's a career best, but I'll remember what a hole looks like, mostly if it's memorable. I think when people ask that, they ask 1 of 3 things. So I'll give you 1 for each. They ask you, what's the most prestigious or famous course that you've played?
It's a good call. Yeah.
They ask you, what's the best, like, actual golf course? Like, you could play one course the rest of your life.
That's
what would it be?
Yeah, I like that.
And then what's your absolute favorite? Like, may not be the best rank. Like, what's your is the course you grew up on?
Right.
Whatever.
There's something sentimental there. Yeah.
So most famous for me would probably be Liberty National, which is the one that's in Jersey City. It's a stone's throw. It's probably a par 5 away from the Statue of Liberty.
Oh.
They've hosted a President's Cup. They hosted the Barclays for a number of years on the PGA Tour. It costs, rumored it costs like $500 million to build because it's built on an old toxic waste dump they had to clean up first. It's got a $60 million clubhouse. It's insane.
Unbelievable.
My locker, the day that I played in this tournament, and of course I'm not a member, obviously, but my locker was stuffed between Ray Romano and Phil Mickelson.
Oh.
I was like, oh, neat. That's pretty cool. Like the who's who. So that was a neat experience. Unbelievable.
I'm sure Phil Mickelson comes in and is like, Landon Owen.
He was not there.
I wish I could have been that. I'm glad my locker's by that guy.
It was a Jimmy V Foundation. Yeah, right. Jimmy V Foundation was doing an event that day, a fundraiser, and I played with some Rutgers folks. And
that's fun.
But Tom Kite designed that course, and he was there that day. They were making some changes for the President's Cup.
Cool.
Some pros complained about the greens, so he was there to try to soften them up a little bit.
He's like, all right,
yep. The best golf course, if I had one course to play every day the rest of my life, is not far from here. It's Holston Hills in Knoxville. It is a 1920s Donald Ross. It's a work of art. There are almost no trees out there. You can see every hole from every hole. If it were in a bigger market and with a bigger clubhouse, it'd be top 50 in the country.
Oh, wow.
It's
that nice.
It's like, it'll show up like fringe top 100.
Okay.
On some classic course list.
Okay.
But it's much better than that.
Can you convert it to go play?
No, it's private.
Is it private?
I've played it a couple of times with some friends who are members at other courses in that network. And that's, everybody also asks, how do you get on these places? Like, well, you meet a lot of people and they help you.
Especially when you're maybe a little guy that sells tickets at a big event every
I wish that helped more than it did.
But hey, I got some tickets for you. However,
However,
just I got a little favor for this.
I wish it worked that easy. And then my favorite place of all time is a place called Tot Hill Farm. Tot Hill Farm. It's in Asheboro, North Carolina, in the center of the state, a little north of Pinehurst, between like Pinehurst and Greensboro. And the guy that designed that, his name is Mike Strantz. And the first time I played it, probably early 2000s, was right after it opened. It's like golf on steroids, crack, and adrenaline.
Nice.
And rocks. Like, it was built out of a little bit of a smaller mountain range, and they just scatter boulders everywhere, like outside, but they intentionally move stuff. The bunkers are just so huge. The landscape is wild. It was old horse farm that somebody turned into a golf course.
My mind's going to the TGL thing going right now, where you see on the screen there's those weird like shape.
That's real life there, though.
That's awesome.
That was Strantz's style. So this guy, Mike, like if I had a foursome, like who could be in my foursome? Mike's in my foursome.
Yeah.
Just so you could have the conversation.
Yeah. Like, what are you thinking?
What are you thinking? Like, it's amazing. He was a trained artist. He went to school to be a commercial artist.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
He could draw, paint.
Yeah.
So he would ride around on a property on horseback with a sketch pad, and he'd be like, okay, this is what's going to go here. And he would draw the hole. And then when it came time to build it, they'd tape it to the bulldozer, and that's what they would build off of. Unlike a Donald Ross who'd do a CAD drawing and, well, he drew by hand back then on graph paper. But now guys have like computer animated 3D models and
that all plugs into their dozers, right? And they just basically sit here and watch it run.
Mike did all this by feel and by hand, and he would be there and design the courses himself and build the course himself. And he worked for Tom Fazio for a long time. And just, he only built 7 original courses. He modified 2 others, and then he passed away at the age of 50. He had tongue cancer and never used tobacco either. Like, just life's raw deal. And so we've started an account years ago when we first did this. We called it the Strantz Fance.
Oh yeah.
Spelled it funny, so it's hard to find maybe. But we liked it. And so we kind of created this like society or club just in his honor. And that's turned to be almost as popular as the Golf Crusade itself. and we've kind of become some of the ringleaders for his legacy.
Oh, that's cool.
By no means did we create or anything, but we help, give exposure to his small batch of courses that have since become legendary in the golf architecture world as things have gotten. We're now entering this new golden age, a second golden age of golf course architecture with some of these new builds. And Mike's work is evident in all of these places as inspiration. So we try to keep that memory alive and do an event in his honor, not annually. It's just kind of whatever. We'll look at the calendar and say, this date works. Like one date usually.
Yeah.
Like, that work for you? Yep. We get approval from the wives and we'll call a course and say, we got one day. Can we come do something with you? And we've done 5 of them already. Five of the 7 on the East Coast, and there's 2 in California. But it's been spectacular to meet those folks and to meet guys that have built those courses with him, and to hear it was wild.
That's
so cool.
Super cool.
But so we that's been a neat thing. So Tot Hill Farm, if you haven't played it, they just went through a restoration in the last couple of years, and
Sounds like you might need to go back. And I can drive you over there.
I got to play it with my son last fall.
Oh, fun.
And it was like his first round. And they're like, you brought him there? I'm like, think of it as like this. He'll never be scared of another golf shot in his life, because he's seen all the things you could be scared about on the first one. But he talks about, he's like, we need to go back. So I'm like, yes, we do.
Cool. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm excited to go try that one.
Yep.
That'd be awesome.
It's neat. If you haven't been to one of his, Tobacco Road is another one. If you're a beach goer, Caledonia and True Blue. And then he's got 2 up in Williamsburg area, Royal New Kent and Stonehouse are the public ones you can get on. So check them out.
I think I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to going to your website. What's your website for all this?
GolfCrusade.com is the mothership for the golf thing. It's got big map guy, big list guy. So it's got an interactive map of every course we've ever played. You can click on it. It really started as a tool that when we went to find courses, we wanted to see pictures of what we're going to go try to get into. If you're trying, hey, I got one round I can play in this town. Where am I going to go?
Yeah.
And some of the websites back then were not very.
I would say even
now.
Like, I mean, we'll go to the beach and I'll go, I want to play a golf course. So I'll get on, something, I'll search golf tee times or whatever. And the pictures that come up, you're like, I don't know if I want to play that course. Don't look great,
I've got a friend, I'll call him out by name. His name's Brian Christopher. And I'll make sure I send him the link to this podcast. He is notorious for taking like diagonal pictures with a phone and getting the cart path in it. Like, I'm like, dude, like if you have a shoe off when you're taking that photo,
you're not helping them out at all.
We all wear them out.
Yeah.
We all wear them out.
That's awesome.
So Brian, improve your photo taking.
You're scaring people off.
I know, right? But it's like that's not what we see. And when you go to Google or something, you still see a lot of that.
Yeah.
User uploaded photos. You just don't know what you're going to get.
You never know.
We encourage courses. We're not on the payroll, obviously, but we encourage them, like, own your space.
Sure.
Like, that's what we do at Bristol. Drew and his team, they own our space.
They make it look
make
awesome.
sure it is buttoned up and ready to go. And if you're a small business, make sure you own your space. You should be SEO number 1. If you run a business, you know what that is.
Yes.
And make sure you're there at the top of the list when somebody's looking for you. If you go search night golf near me on Google, you'll see us on the first page that has an interactive map of every course in the United States with lights on it. If you want a kid that's looking to play golf in college, we created a map of every college-owned golf course and team-owned practice facility. There's 400 some points on that. So we wanted evergreen tools that everybody could use. We wanted useful stuff. If we're going to spend the time to do this, just from our own passion, we wanted it to be useful. And we think some of it has. And we look forward to doing more fun old projects in the wintertime or, whatever. We're not actually playing because playing's the most fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's your favorite club in the bag?
Driver.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's good.
Always.
Always the driver.
M2.
What's our average drive?
Today, 260, 265. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I could get it close to 300.
Yeah.
I won a lot of long drive competitions.
Well, you played baseball.
I did.
And you figured that out, how to translate that into golf.
Yep.
Because it's not the same swing, but
I won a lot of scramble long drive contests.
Nice.
But I don't hit it nearly as far as I used to.
yeah.
We
same.
age Father Time, undefeated.
Father Time gets us. He blitzes us. Luckily, we're getting a little new technology helping keep the, but I've got young boys that have, 20-year-olds that have backs that just can hit it forever. And you're just like, why?
I can rotate one way. I can either have a big takeaway or I can have a follow through, but I can't have both. So I've shortened my backswing and tried to get a follow through and rotation. Yep.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I've had back issues.
Yep.
Like, all right, I'm just going to try and get it on the ball.
Yep.
That's funny.
Yeah, if I'm taking stills, if somebody's taking, which I don't like, of pictures of me, it's usually the takeaway, because the follow through is just a disaster. Short arm it, trap it in there. Yep,
I love it.
Yep.
Well, I know we're short on time. What anything that I didn't ask you that we didn't cover that you wish we had?
Well, I would just say that if you're considering moving here, you should.
Oh,
I think that's it, and that you've done a great job of promoting the region, and I thank you for that. As someone who was a transplant,
we love it here.
Yep,
that's awesome.
I appreciate all that you guys do and the time that you do to do this. So
thank you.
Yeah, it's a hidden gem that's not so hidden anymore.
It is a great place to live. Bristol's unbelievable.
Yes, the whole.
What's
region.
Your favorite thing about Bristol? While we got you,
other than the racetrack.
Yeah, well, of course we got to say the racetrack.
I've always loved the downtown. Just State Street is so cool. I always felt it was a little ahead of us down here.
Agreed.
I know they're ebbed and flowed recently, just like everybody has, but State Street Bristol is just so iconic.
It really is. We can stand 2 feet, 1 foot in Virginia, 1 in Tennessee. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the Geico thought so.
Yeah, Geico.
They did the whole commercial. I think it was just regional. Everybody I try to tell outside the area, they're like, "What are you talking about?"
That stupid commercial.
Yeah, I think that was regional.
That little lizard, he can't get his feet that far apart.
But it's neat. I think our area, each one of the little towns, like I think Jonesboro is just
it's like
untapped.
The quintessential little downtown. I'm surprised Hallmark hasn't swept in and done like movies.
Every movie there. Yeah, at Christmas time. So it's like I know a couple girls at the office that would like try to be extras in every single one of them.
Yeah.
And it's neat that there's some new restaurants coming.
Yeah.
We're very excited about. And I think if Jonesboro discovers that there's life after 5 o'clock, watch out because it could be really, really special down there.
I think that's going to continue to grow.
Yep.
It's just the secret's out about Johnson City, Kingsport, Bristol.
Yeah.
I mean, it's out, and people are going to just keep flocking here because everybody's related to somebody. It seems like, and they're bringing which is what I love because I'll get clients that'll say, "Hey, we're moving our kids here. We're going to move our nephews here." I mean, like everybody's coming. My sister and brother, and I'm like, "Great, bring them on. We want to help them buy houses here. So come on."
Very early on in my tenure at the racetrack, I spoke to a lot of people who are fans that ended up moving here. And they're like, "Yeah, the lucky ones or the smart ones come visit. The lucky ones move here."
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm glad you moved here, and I think it's like I said, it's just going to continue to grow, and this will be an awesome place to live. And, I'm excited to see what our downtown looks like. Like 14 years from now, you've watched 14 years of it. It's just going to go 14 years better, and it's going to be awesome.
I drove down Walnut Street for the first time in a while.
Are you kidding me? How cool that place!
2 days ago. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be really good.
It's going to be awesome.
It's taken them forever, but it's really good. It's going to be cool.
I will say our public works department is second to none. They get it done.
They do a great job.
I can't do it. I have a lot of graceful people that do.
Same.
Unsung heroes.
Guys. Yeah.
We had a tree fall in our yard one day, and in 10 minutes they were there to clean it up. It had fallen in the road a little bit, and I'm like, where can you find that? To call somebody, actually talk to a person, and then somebody respond that quickly.
Well, and the crazy thing too is if they weren't there in 10 minutes, something like their neighbor's going to come. Like with all the trees we have been laying down over all the roads. I mean, I think that's something we all have, or like probably a gun and a chainsaw. And so we're doing chainsaws like left and right and just cutting up wood and helping people out and clearing roads. And I mean, we just, our whole area, and it goes back to the volunteer state, but we love each other and we want to help each other and do whatever we can.
Yep.
And it just continues to show up. And I think it's a big part because
totally agree.
Because Jesus is a big part of our lives here. So
very much.
Well, Landon, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I'm glad we're friends now. I'm looking forward to checking all your stuff out and going and playing golf with you and watching you out drive me a ton, it sounds like.
Anytime after April 13th before June 6th.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Well, and if you want to come meet Landon, go to Bristol, check out the race.
Come see us.
Just go up to a ticket office and say, Landon, and from you were friends back in somewhere in West Virginia at some point or somewhere. He's worked all over.
Been a few places.
Beautiful places. So, yeah. Well, thanks. I enjoyed our conversation. Thank you
Likewise.
for all you're doing.
Thank you, brother.
Doing fine. Till next time, I'm Colin Johnson with the Colin and Carly Group. If you want to move here and be a neighbor of Landon's, we'd love to help you do that. If you want to build wealth through real estate, we'd love doing that. If you want to go to Bristol Motor Speedway, click on the link below. Go to the spring race, go to the game coming up in August, and then September, the night race, which is going to be awesome.
Awesome.
So,
Always
yeah,
is.
thank you so much for listening. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon.